the UAE always says that it has a ministry of tolerance with respect for all respect for all religions, not only for Islam. Respecting other religions mandate to build their own places of worship, and this was it should be a normal news.
Well,
it's a regular thing. It's not like a big temple. That's it. So it's a place of worship for the Hindus, and it was one of the major places of worship, or one of the biggest places of worship around the world, and especially in the Gulf. But I just want to tell you one thing, Jacob. It's not the only Hindu temple in the Gulf. There is also one in Qatar. The fact that the UAE gives attention to places of worship out of respect to the residents is actually something that should be admired, not something that should be criticized. And now we are heading towards the end of 2022. By 2023, we'll have the Abrahamic House, where we have a synagogue and a mosque.
Question: is it permissible to build churches and Hindu temples in the Arabian Peninsula? What are the borders of the Arabian Peninsula? Is the UAE part of the Arabian Peninsula? Did the madhab of the Ahnaf allow the building of churches in the Arabian Peninsula? First of all, it's not permitted to build any new places of shirk, churches, synagogues, Hindu temples, or anything of that nature in any of the various Muslim territories for any of the various kuffar and mushrikeen. That's whether they were territories that were founded on tawheed from the beginning, or conquered peacefully or militarily. It's not permissible to build them on any Muslim territory, not just the Arabian Peninsula. All Muslim lands are equal in this matter. It's not permissible in what they refer to as Qatar, or what they refer to as UAE, or in Bilad al-Haramain, or in Egypt, or in Iraq, or even in Turkey, or even in Andalus, or any of the various Muslim territories, even territories that were among the Islamic territories at one point, and now they fall under some type of occupation. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala aid the Muslims to liberate them. Yes, it's more essential that Al-Jazeera Al-Arabiya be kept more pure and more protected and fully shielded from kufr and kuffar, but this specific detail is not among the specialties of Al-Jazeera Al-Arabiya. Except that it's a bigger crime when it's done inside the borders of Al-Jazeera Al-Arabiya, the heart of the Islamic territories. The land that's supposed to be the base and fort of Islam, the land that's supposed to be the refuge for Islam and Muslims. And now, instead of being a refuge for the Muslims, it's the land that imprisons them or surrenders them to the most hostile of the kuffar. And instead of being the land that spreads the pure tawheed, it's the land that promotes the kufr of interfaith and wala' to kuffar. Even though it doesn't matter as it pertains to this mas'ala, whether it's in the Arabian Peninsula or outside, all Muslim lands are equal in this matter. I'll still define, as he asked, what are the borders of the Arabian Peninsula. I'll still answer that question because it's something we constantly get asked. So the overall summary of the geographic border of Al-Jazeera Al-Arabiya is that Al-Jazeera Al-Arabiya is the territory that's surrounded by water from the three directions. And then from the land side, it stops at what is Bilad al-Sham, Jordan, and Iraq next to it. The issue pertaining to building places of worship in lands of Muslims is clear, and among the clearest matters. So clear, some ulama related an ijma' on it. The Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, and it's among the last of what he sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, and we know when one is on his deathbed and gives advice, it's among the most essential advice. So imagine when it's revelation revealed from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the tongue of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in his last days on this earth. كان آخر ما تكلم به أن قال قاتل الله اليهود والنصارى اتخذوا قبور أنبيائهم مساجد لا يبقين دينان بأرض العرب. Musad Ahmad, it was among the last of what the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam spoke, two deens shall not coexist in the lands of the Arab. And more specifically for the Arabian Peninsula, Sahih Muslim. Hadith Umar bin Khattab radiallahu anhu. The Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, لَأُخْرِجَنَّ الْيَهُودَ وَالنَّصَارَى مِنْ جَزِيرَةِ الْعَرَبِ حَتَّى لَا أَدْعَ إِلَّا مُسْلِمًا. And there's other narrations similar to that. And in Musnad Ahmad, when the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was asked what he was sent with, he said, I was sent to destroy the idols. وَتُكْسَرَ الْأَوْثَانِ. Other hadith imply this as well. Even if there was no specific hadith on this matter, it wouldn't be needed because it's among the basics. Khamra is haram. It's haram to drink it, to sell it, and to buy it. So do you build a bar for them to drink in it? Zina and prostitution are haram. Do you build a prostitution house for them to commit zina in it? Shirk is the most horrendous sin committed on the face of this earth. Mightier than zina and alcohol and riba combined. Whoever falls into shirk is eternally destined to Jahannam. So how can one think it's permissible for Muslims to build them a cursed, doomed establishment, or to think it's permissible for them to construct it on the lands of the Muslimin? This is such a common matter that I said some ulama related an ijma' on it. And keep in mind, when we speak on this matter, there's a detail that's overlooked. When most of the ulama were talking about this issue, the earlier ulama especially, it was in the context of kuffar living in Muslim lands, building and fixing up their own places of worship. They prohibited that for them, to build them for themselves. It's them building these places of worship with their wealth and money and energy. Yet it was still prohibited. Imagine when it's tawaghit who claim to be on tawheed, taking the wealth from the hungry stomachs of this ummah to build places of worship for the various mushrikeen who are hostile towards Islam and Muslimin. Among the ulama who related an ijma' on this matter is a Subki. He said there's ijma' that it's prohibited to build or renovate or fix or update or maintain a church. And of course, when you say a church, it includes other places of worship just like it for the mushrikeen in kuffar. Az-Zayla'i, who is a Hanafi, related an ijma' on this matter. He said kuffar living under Muslim rule in Muslim lands, if they wish to build places of worship, they are not permitted to do so by ijma'. And Al-Insaf and Al-Furu', they related that Ibn Taymiyyah, rahimahullah ta'ala, mentioned in ijma' on this matter as well. In Mukhtasar al-Fatawa al-Masriya, he said, لا يجوز تجديد الكنيسة باتفاق المسلمين. And back in the days when Sheikh Bakr Abu Zayd was active in what they call the big ulama in Bilad al-Haramain, around the year 1420 or 1421, this matter was so obvious that they themselves even related in ijma' prohibiting this matter. They said permitting and accepting places of worship for kuffar, like churches, or having specialized designated places of worship for them in any of the Muslim lands is among the mightiest forms of aiding kufr and displaying their symbols. What they meant by specialized designated places is something like what they have of designated prayer areas or the multi-faith prayer areas in hospitals and airports. And they considered that prohibited. Al-Hasan al-Basri said from the sunnah is to destroy the churches in old and new countries. Al-Tartushi in Siraj al-Muluk said Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, rahimahullah ta'ala, sent an order to his governor, Urwa ibn Muhammad, who was his governor in Yemen, that no church or place of worship shall remain in the lands of the Muslims. And his governor, Urwa, carried that order out. Don't forget al-Shurut al-Umariyah. When Muslim lands were expanded and they got near a